Dani.
I'm Nisha.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Hannah.
And this is
The Vegan View.
Cheers.
Today on the show, we are going to be talking about the vegan police, which is basically the kind of vegans that leave nasty comments and kind of troll the internet and
make
spread
it
a lot of hate.
really impossible to be vegan.
Well, what do you guys think? Have you guys ever encountered a troll or like the vegan police on your channels?
Yeah, so I've been on YouTube for almost 5 years now, and what I think is like the most interesting thing is that before I was vegan, I would post healthy recipes and I would use, makeup that wasn't cruelty-free and all this stuff, and I didn't get any negative comments about anything that I was doing. And the second I started trying to live more ethically and, being like, oh, this is a vegan recipe, then all of a sudden I'm getting all this hate and like people nitpicking every single thing I'm doing. And to me it's funny. It's like, why are you trying to like bring down the people who are trying to actually do good instead of all the people out there who, are living carelessly about animals?
Yeah.
It totally makes us feel like we have to live up to these unrealistic standards that no one can really achieve.
I know a lot of times I think that they think they're doing a lot of good, they're being helpful, or they're like holding you accountable, but what that's doing is it's deterring people because they feel like, well, if I can't do it perfectly right out of the gate, then why should I even try?
Yeah.
And I think that does way more damage than what you may, than the little mistakes here and there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when I first decided to go plant-based with my diet, and then I was doing all this research and learning more about how, veganism is this all-encompassing thing with your fashion and your beauty and everything. It really scared me from even saying that I was vegan or like talking about being vegan to anybody, because I was so afraid that someone was gonna be like, but this isn't vegan, but this isn't vegan. By having, that vegan police like around, it's kind of like scares you from.
It's really scary, and I don't know who made this like long list of like all these rules that it is to be vegan, and I feel like they add more and more rules, and it makes it just like seem like this unattainable thing. And like that's what I like to do on my channel and like in my real life with my friends, is like try to make veganism seem easy. And I feel like making it seem easy is going to make it more approachable and more like attractive to people. If you make it seem like this, like you can't even shop at a normal grocery store, you can never eat at a restaurant with any of your friends ever again because they also sell meat products there, no one's going to want to do that, because people want to just be able to go to the grocery store and eat at restaurants with their friends. So if you show them like easy vegan things they can eat there, like that's going to be a lot more attractive to most people than being like you can only eat at all vegan restaurants and only shop, at all vegan farmers markets, which like don't even exist.
Exactly. It's overwhelming, and that's the last thing you would ever want it to be for other people who maybe saw a documentary and are thinking about going vegan now, and then they go on YouTube and they see all this hate from people, and they're like, I don't want to be part of that.
That's gross. Yeah, and it's hypocritical because you're saying it's about compassion and they're being mean. Do you guys address your haters or like the comments that you get with do you ignore it? Do you block it? Do you comment back? Do you try to fight fire with fire? Like, what's your approach?
Yes.
So I only block if it's something unnecessarily rude, something that doesn't address, that's not constructive, or is attacking another person in the comments. I will block that person, because I don't think you're allowed to participate in my channel if you're gonna just be mean for no reason. Like, you don't deserve the space and the time. But if you're giving me some kind of criticism, like that's constructive, I'm going to come at it with a thank you, even if it's kind of mean, honestly, because it helps me. Like, it helps me grow, and then like I'm going to take that, and if I don't internalize it as a negative, it's going to help me be a better person.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, when you respond to people who are a little bit rude or mean in their comments with compassion and like you're nice to them, it's kind of interesting to see how they respond, because I feel like a lot of times they'll then kind of like retract their negative statement, and if you address them with like kindness, then you kind of can get that back from them sometimes not, but yeah.
I mean, the reality is that we don't live in a vegan world at all. So I don't know, I just feel like we need to do our best and help each other out, and everyone's on kind of like the same journey. Like, once you decide to go vegan, you're just trying to figure out how to do it like in a world that's not vegan. So we're all battling the same things.
Yeah.
You know, we're all in it together. And we live in California, which is probably one of the most vegan friendly places, so I'm sure it's like even harder in other parts of the country and the world.
Like, take a second, put ourselves in their shoes. Why do you think that they're doing that? What do you think their motivation is?
I think it's important to remember that people who we consider to be vegan police or policing in a way that's harsh and condemning do come from a place of caring deeply about furthering the vegan message and getting people to stop using animals. They're not bad people, but it's just the way of going about it. Because I have wonderful followers who will message me and sometimes be like, hey, just to let you know, that's tested on animals. Or you've had some people reach out to you about L'Oreal. And they do it in a wonderful way.
It's all about the way you deliver it, and it's the way you say it, and what your intention is. I think intention is really everything. And it's like, if your intention is really just to help make this person's vegan journey or vegan transition easier, then make sure that your tone reflects that, and make sure that you're not judging them or like being shady about it. It's just not necessary to be cruel. Veganism is about compassion. And I think that's the thing that people need to focus on more than all these rules, like what you were saying. It's like, it's not about being perfect. It's about living in a way that is the most compassionate that you possibly can, and learning how to let that start with your food and then infiltrate the rest of your life as a philosophy. How do you guys address hate when it's directed at your beliefs?
Right. I think to go back to what I said about like being wasteful, I remember when I first went vegan, I still had some leather stuff that I would wear because I had it and I had paid for it, and it didn't make sense to like throw it away. So I remember I would have friends and family who weren't vegan, who would be like, that's leather, you're such a hypocrite, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's important to just be like, listen, I'm coming from a place of not wanting to be wasteful, and I don't agree with buying new products because I don't want to contribute to the industry, but you know, at the same time I'm doing the best I can. And that's funny too, is another thing I feel like, is that sometimes the vegan police isn't even vegan. It's like people that aren't vegan that are like trying to hold you accountable, and you're like, listen, I'm like doing a good thing, so why are you trying to like say that I'm not?
Even just the fact that you're telling this story on camera is like, it's really brave, because we are sometimes confronted by the vegan police. There's sometimes that you feel like you don't want to say things like that, or just be totally truthful about every single product you use or every single thing you do, because you feel like, oh, they're going to scrutinize it, or it's not going to be good enough, and you're actually hiding things that could be really beneficial. There are probably vegans or people transitioning to a vegan lifestyle watching this and thinking, well, do I have to get rid of my stuff? And if you're too afraid to say, like, well, you can if you want, but this is what I did, like, you're being a really good role model right now, and you're being really brave. And I think when people are policing your channel, they're inhibiting that kind of help.
I remember being so afraid to call myself vegan when I first went vegan, until I like came to the realization, like, I'm part of a social justice movement that prevents harm to animals and our planet. And that even if I do stuff that's imperfect, I'm still intending to decrease suffering.
The intention.
So I don't think people, I know so many people call themselves plant-based nowadays, but if you are really in it for ethical, moral, environmental reasons, I don't think people should be afraid to say, I'm vegan. Wave that vegan flag.
I feel like being vegan is doing as much as you can to eliminate any animals from getting hurt. And I feel like just being conscious of that and living your life as ethically as possible is vegan, you know?
I totally agree.
How do you guys feel when like you said earlier, how sometimes people still eat fish or still eat chicken and call themselves vegan? Like, how do you feel about that? Does that upset you, or I'd like to know.
For me personally, I mean, it used to. When I first went vegan, it would bother me, like when someone else I knew who was saying they were vegan was eating cheese or something. That used to bother me. But now, honestly, it doesn't, because I feel like they're getting the word vegan out there. You know, even if they're not actually being vegan, they're saying the word vegan, and then by them saying that to someone, they might hear that for the first time, and like they might start thinking about going vegan too. Like, you never know, like the ripple effect of just someone saying the word vegan is going to do. So even if that person's not a perfect vegan, like they're still spreading the message, you know?
I do get kind of like, oh, I don't want them to put the wrong message out there, and just and people to think that being vegan means you can eat chicken sometimes. But I think that for me, it's like, I try not to focus on the ideology and be super strict about the term or tell someone that they're doing it wrong, and focus more and support more the choice that they've made to make the good decisions. So instead of like, oh yeah, they eat chicken once a week, I try to focus on the 20 other meals that they eat throughout the week that are plant-based and congratulate them on that, because I know the more support and that they get from that and the more excited they are about those meals, the more they're going to eat that and the less room they're going to have in their day for animal products. So it's eventually going to lead to a greater good than if I was just going to be like, well, you're doing it wrong, and then I, inhibit them from making, a change.
Yeah, but I feel like we're at a point in time where veganism is getting better and better understood, and that if you're addressed with someone who thinks vegans eat fish because they've met a vegan who eats fish, I think that it's your job to kind of re-inform them and re-educate them on like what really veganism is, and just let them know, oh, maybe that vegan ate fish, but real veganism is about not eating any kind of living thing. It puts the burden less on like stuff you don't have the control over, and it empowers you. Yeah. You're the best example of veganism.
That's probably what a lot of the times the vegan police is feeling. It's like they're like, I'm trying to do so well, and they're trying to control other people, and like because that's out of their control. So that's a very interesting psychology. A lot of it is just them feeling like they need to have more control. Takes you out of
the victim role. And it puts you into the empowered.
Interesting. If you had a vegan police here with you right now, what would you guys say to them?
I'd say trust that you're going to be a shining example of it without putting that pressure on other people, and by doing the best that you can. I think that's 10 times more powerful than someone doing what you think is wrong.
Yes.
That's a great point.
Thanks,
guys.
Hard to top.
I guess I would say all that energy that you're putting into like policing other vegans, if you just put that into being like an example yourself and spreading the message yourself and building a platform and a community that you can spread the message, I think that energy is so much more powerful and spent in a positive way, and in the long term could be more effective because you're reaching people that may not know about veganism.
I think I would say, I'm sorry I can't be as perfect as you.
Seth. Insert the simple plan.
Be sure to check out our channels linked in the description box down below, and stay tuned next Monday for an all-new Vegan View. Bye!